what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again.
I've got these two headlight support panels. So this one here is the one that I've unpicked off the ute subframe. So this is the one that was all mashed up. So that's all unpicked. What I've got here is the one that I've unpicked off the donor car. This is nice and straight. It just had a little bit of rust in the bottom. So front corner of the engine bay is a bit of a water trap. Pretty common for these to rust out along here. That's what I'd cut out so you can see someone's had a previous go at it. I've just made myself up cardboard template. So this had quite a few thin spots in pitting up here, so I've just ground that out with the die grinder to clean all that up, just so I'm back to good steel. And then this guy here still needs a little bit of fine tuning, but I'm just going to leave this bit a bit bigger because I'm going to have to just tap it up to meet with this angle. So I'm going to transfer this piece onto a bit of sheet metal, and I'll get this piece cut out, ready to weld into here. Once this piece is done, then this will go back on there, something like that. Something to keep in mind if you're ever working on the front part of the subframe where you're unpicking bits, it's always a good idea before you weld it in is just measure from the car. So just make sure that it hasn't moved between these points, and then just brace it, because obviously once you put a little bit of heat in the front, it's pretty easy for to stretch and the whole thing change shape. So just something I've learned is, yeah, if you're working on anything like this, just always brace it. All right, I'll get this one cut out and get it ready to go. This has a little fold on it. So I've just marked that out with the dotted line so that I know once I've cut it out, that I can just put that little fold in it.
Set them rewind, and 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. I'll sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away, but now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah, is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. This really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.
So that's how much more I've got to take off there. pretty happy with that. These lower sections TIG welded up completely, so I haven't sanded this one, but I've just knocked the tops off this one. So when you TIG weld, you're always going to get a bit of distortion. So as the weld cools, it's going to shrink. So if you have a look at this edge now, so if I put steel ruler on the edge, you'll see that it has warped a little bit. So the good thing with TIG welding, you can easily planish that out. So I'll give this a bit of a bump with the hammer and the dolly, and we'll see if we can get this straight again. So all I'm trying to do is just re-stretch that metal and take a little bit of the pressure out, and as you can see, that's already a lot straighter. Oh, that whole section's perfectly straight now. So when I sand this one down and planish all this, that'll take that last little ripple out. Good thing about TIG welding is there's a lot less grinding that you have to do. MIG obviously builds up quite large. With the TIG, you're only putting a tiny bit of filler in, so that it's a lot quicker and easier to grind flat. Alright, I'm probably going to finish off this side. I'll finish off this side. I'll do the same treatment, so I'll grind these flat and then I'll planish these two. And then once I've got that good, then I'll weld this top bit. So I just had a little hole there where it had blown through. So it's much quicker just to put, that's hot, bit of copper, you sit that behind, and then when you weld to it, it just helps to fill the gap a lot quicker. So where I've got the blow through on the other side, I'll do the same thing. But I'm going to put a glove on before I pick up that bit of copper. So that other hole's all filled up. Because I've put a bit more heat into that, that would have shrunk a fair bit, so I'll need to stretch that out. So that gets the panels nice and flush with each other. So I'm not actually taking too much metal off the other side. I'm just doing it until I see that they're even. And it's coming up pretty good. So I've got all of that tigged up. So the metal here was still pretty thin. So when I've tried to weld this up, it just kept blowing out. So instead of just persevering and keep going with that, I'm going to hit this with a die grinder. And you can see daylight through it. So I'll just open that out. And then I'm just going to make a piece to go back in there. And then that will get rid of all that really thin metal. I thought I'd got it all, but I obviously just missed this little bit through here. So yeah, I should have just made the patch so it followed this line the whole way around and then come down here, but it's all good. I'll clean it up with the die grinder and I'll get another piece welded in. This will just need grinding flush, planishing, and then this piece is nearly done. Just open that up. All these little bits that were left over from when I cut this piece out, I'll just use a bit of that. Got that panel, it's just clamped onto the car, just test fitting it. So before I weld this one in, I'll put the top radiator support panel on and bolt it all in place just to make sure that it's exactly where it needs to be. But that repair turned out pretty good. So it's pretty well flushed the entire way around. So once it's painted, you won't even know. Pretty happy with that one. Just gotta do a small rust repair in this piece before I weld it on. So that's the next stage, get that one done, and then this can all get welded on for good.